Buongiorno! Hello, everybody. How are you? It is 5 billion degrees outside, hence the shorts and tank top look and the man bun. This is actually my go-to look. Very nice look when you've got this crazy undercut. Welcome to the 20-minute cooking school. Today's lesson is about my favorite food in the entire world, pasta. Today's lesson is also about salt, and we're also going to cover some other very important topics. A scale, what type of pasta you should use, what about salt, is it healthy, is it not healthy, and we're going to do it all in 20 minutes. So I'm going to start the timer. Okay, so small cheat. I've already put on a big pot of water to boil because I'm going to cook some pasta. And although I never actually measure the water, I did today just so that I would have a sort of a benchmark. So it's 4 liters of water. 4 liters in my big pasta pot. You can see my big guy here. Ooh, hot lid. And I just brought it up to a boil. So I'm going to bring it back to a boil. And so we can cook the pasta within 20 minutes. You know, if you're ever walking into your house and you're thinking, oh, for the love of beep, what am I going to have for supper? Put on a pot of water to boil. Before you even have an idea, just put on a pot of water to boil, because from that you can cook rice, cook pasta, cook potatoes, blanch green beans, cook corn, have a facial, birth a baby. You know, you got to boil water to birth the baby, so you are ready. So with a nice big pot of water, you are ready to go. I am going to put mine back up on high heat. I've had these pots for 2001, I got them. For 16 years. It's still going strong. Okay, so this is the 20-minute cooking school. It's for cash, so if you got some questions, come on, I'll fire away. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't exactly see all the way to my screen, but I will do my best. The stuff we cover in the 20-minute cooking school are like just the little tips and tricks and a little, like, they almost seem like nothing. They're barely worth a class, but God, these little tips and tricks are so helpful and so useful. So we're going to cover today, last week we covered about how to anchor a cutting board, and this week we're going to talk about pasta. So this is easily the most controversial thing I do in any of my cooking classes. I mean, I talk about all kinds of crazy shit, and I never get as many gasps as when I do this. So guys, I'm going to salt my pasta water, okay? It's boiling. Some people say you shouldn't salt it before it's boiling. I don't really care. They say that if you use iodized salt, which I do in boiling water, that it will pit the bottom of your pot. Probably, I don't know, has anybody else heard that? Maybe it depends on what metal your pot is made of. But I use iodized salt in this, just good old-fashioned table salt, good old-fashioned table salt. And you know what rhymes with table salt? Tablespoon. A tablespoon of table salt for this pot of water. And I would say that is even a pretty conservative quantity. Yeah, 4 liters of water, and I'm going to put in a tablespoon of table salt. Okay? Yes, this is when the people in my classes usually start screaming. Listen, let me tell you a few things about salt. First of all, this is not where high sodium comes from. This is not where you get high blood pressure from. You get high blood pressure from processed foods, from eating at McDonald's, from eating a lot of bread, from eating a lot of cheese, from eating a lot of canned goods, from eating anything frozen. 1/4 of one individual sized frozen pizza is your entire daily recommended limit of sodium. 1/4 of one individual frozen pizza. This, adding a tablespoon to 4 liters of water, not all of which is going to go into my body, is not where you get your high blood pressure from. So just cool it on that regard. I've got lots of emojis going across the bottom of the screen. Thank you. It does not matter. However, what does matter, this is where we're going to really get emotional here, and I only have 16 minutes left. If the food doesn't taste good, first of all, you're not going to enjoy it. And then how good is that for your health? And second of all, go back to the first thing. If the food doesn't taste good, you're not going to enjoy it. So salt makes things flavorful. If you put too much in, yes, you won't be able to eat it. But let me tell you, when you're salting pasta water, this is the only chance you get to actually flavor these noodles. If you don't salt the pasta water, you will not have as tasty of a dish. And this is especially true if you're having if you're making a really, really simple sauce. So anything like, a garlic and olive oil, or, even just a simple tomato sauce, anything like a nice simple sauce, you need to salt your pasta water. As I said, I use iodized salt. I use table salt in a lot of stuff. It's always here. I always have a 1/4 teaspoon in there and usually a tablespoon sitting in there in my jar of table salt. Okay, I think we've covered that. I got over my emotions there. Let's talk about just a little bit about my little digital scale, which if you've ever seen my classes, you know I love. So this I use for all kinds of things, especially in baking, but also when you're cooking pasta, it takes all the guesswork out of it. 85 grams for a kind of an ordinary hungry person, between 75 and 85 grams. 150 and 120 for like a hungry person. 200 for a 15-year-old boy, you know what I'm saying. I already had, maybe I already had some lunch. This is going to be my second lunch. So I'm going to do 75 grams for myself. 70, 75. Oh gosh. Now the other thing I say about dry pasta, which you should always have in the cupboard because it is so wonderful, so versatile, lasts forever. Buy the stuff that's made in Italy. You know what? Funny thing about those Italians, they know how to make pasta. So, of course, hilariously, most of it is made with Canadian durum wheat. So it's like we send all of our wheat to Italy, they turn it into pasta, they send it back to us, and we eat it up. And then the other thing is, the good brands always have cook time. You know what? I follow that to the letter. So salt's in, pasta's going in. I'm going to set my other timer for 6 minutes, and then the pasta will be ready. Let's give that little guy a little stir. A little stir-eater. Okay, holy cow, have we ever covered a lot? We've covered salt in pasta. What type of salt? Digital scale, you can go away over here. And those are all pots. Yes, Kate, I know. Hello. Okay, good. Nothing. Okay, yeah, I know, right? The digital scale. So just again, if you like to cook in any way, if you like to bake, or if you use any British recipes or any European recipes at all, get yourself a digital scale. Slips into the pantry. You'll never go back. Okay, pasta be cooking. So I thought it would be really delicious. To be fair, all I really wanted was a big bowl of pasta today. So I thought, I think I'll just make one of my favorites. You're going to maybe complain that this isn't a recipe, but my feeling is if you can enjoy this, if you can make and enjoy this, then really there's nothing else complicated in this world. This is pasta with butter and parmesan. So I like to say that if you have a tender heart, and like me, you'll cry at a TV commercial, and then you need to have some carbs. This is really important to have around. And also, if you have a child, this is like if you can make this and they can enjoy it, you're kind of set. You're never out of dinner ideas. So I'm just doing this for myself. So I'm using 2 tablespoons of butter. Oh, come on. It's just 2 tablespoons of butter. Let me tell you what else I've had to eat today. Bowl of yogurt. Nibbled, because I was on City Line, hence the giant eyelashes. Beautiful makeup. Would you use coarse sea salt for pasta water? You could use coarse sea salt, but you're going to have to use a lot more Sherry Berry, but you would certainly use it. I don't actually, as Michael would say, I'm not bothered by sea salt. I like it. I'm not going to pay a lot more money for sea salt. I think iodized salt is fine. And then the other salt that I use mostly is kosher salt. So those are my 2 salts. And then I always have Maldon salt here for finishing dishes, which I will use a little bit today. Guys, we've got 11 minutes left and we are in good shape. Salt is, I guess salt is a controversial topic, people know, you've had a dietitian tell you, you've had your doctor tell you, reduce the salt in your diet. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, if you've been watching since then, I'm going to say it again. You don't get your sodium. You don't get high sodium from this. You get high sodium from eating at McDonald's and eating frozen pizzas and those sorts of things. So those things in moderation, and always make sure to use lots of salt. Okay, so I've mashed up the butter in my serving bowl. Yeah, Yeah, you got a problem with the size of my serving bowl? Get my Parmesan out. Get my grater out. And I'm going to put in, 2 tablespoons of butter, so I'm going to do about a quarter cup of Parmesan. If you ever break up with somebody, this could be called 20-minute cooking school / love line, because if you are ever sad about, heartbreak of any kind, you put a bowl of this action on that heartbreak, and it is cured. It is absolutely cured. And if you can't have gluten, you just use your favorite gluten-free pasta. And if you can't have cheese, then, I don't know, man, like I live for cheese. So cheese is like one of those ingredients I'll just never, ever, ever be able to give up. I'll never be able to be vegan because I can never give up cheese. It's my favorite thing in the world. Okay, so about quarter cup-ish, freshly grated. I always use freshly grated. My son, who always loved this, he called this mummy cheese because it's my cheese. And he has always loved Parmesan, the real stuff. And then recently he was introduced to shaker Parmesan cheese at a friend's house, and now that's all he'll eat. Sorry, because it's cheaper, I think, ultimately. And now I get to have the Parmesan, but it's quite funny. So it's like now we have Thomas cheese and mummy cheese. All right, so the good thing about this is if I was making this for dinner, dinner's just about ready. So what I'm going to do, I've got the butter and the Parmesan. If you're just tuning in, butter and Parmesan. I'm not going to do garlic. I'm not going to do chili flakes. I will do some fresh pepper, okay? I will do some fresh pepper. What all I've done is I've made this into like a paste. And spread that on toast and put it under the broiler and you would be happy. It's not very much. The other bonus of using a large bowl, it doesn't look like very much. Okay, should we do pepper? We're going with pepper? We're going with pepper. It is, Katie, it is just ordinary iodized table salt, Windsor salt. You can usually buy the box for $1.99. And when I was developing recipes for my cookbook, Uncomplicated, publication date October 2nd, 2018, since you asked, I used table salt in all those recipes because you know what? It's the most common, it's the cheapest, and unless you're using salt for a really particular use, like sprinkling it over chocolate chip cookies or over a chocolate, sea salt tart, or over freshly sliced steak, and you want that beautiful salt. You don't actually need to buy the fancy salt. If you're just putting salt in a muffin recipe, frankly, you just want table salt. And if I'm putting a tablespoonful into my 4 liters of water, that's a tablespoonful, that's the pasta ready. All that's to say, if you're putting a tablespoonful, you don't want to be spending a ton of money. So that pasta is ready. So now here comes the quick bit. Oh man, I put my ladle in the dishwasher. The dishwasher's going. Backup ladle over here. It's okay, we've got a backup ladle. Whew. So I'm going to ladle in some pasta cooking water. About a quarter of a cup. Maybe a little less. Maybe 3 tablespoons. Okay, that pasta cooking water is liquid gold. Its flavor, its texture, it's creamy. And what I'm going to do is, because I've got my whisk out as well, I'm actually going to whisk these things together and get some on the counter. So the water is going to loosen up and melt the butter and the cheese. And it's essentially going to make a little sauce. Now, sure, you could add the pasta right in here and just stir away, but I like doing this because then I actually have a little kind of a creamy sauce. 2 ingredients, right? Like it's just butter and parm, but now it looks like that. Okay, now here's the other thing, one pot meal. I am not even using a colander. I'm just gonna use the tongs, drain directly in. If you're just joining us, it's the 20-minute cooking school. I put a tablespoonful of salt into my pot of water, and now I'm having pasta with butter and Parmesan. Ugh. So now I'm just gonna toss and toss and toss and toss. And what I've got here, very excited, very excited. It's 4 o'clock and I get to have a little pasta dish. Pasta? Pasta. I think I used to say pasta, and now I say pasta. I used to say scallop, and then I moved to the Maritimes, and I say scallop. I'll never say tomato, though. Okay. Never. Never say tomato. I'll never say basil. You got to hear from me first. Guys, here we go. Okay. Whew. Sorry, I got excited. Getting very excited today. Now, obviously, to this, you could add prosciutto, chili flakes, fresh basil, fresh mint, fresh chives, more cheese. In fact, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do a little more cheese. But plain butter, good parm, a little bit of pepper. And you know what I haven't added to this? Salt. Because you know why? Because I salted the pasta water. So the pasta, I'm tripping myself up, will have enough salt on it. Okay, taste test. We've got 4 minutes left. We may actually cover this in less than 20 minutes. I can tell you while this cools down, I'm going to New York City tomorrow, and I'm going to eat all the pasta. I'm going to eat all the pizza. I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to hang out with Mario Batali. He might not know that. Or maybe we'll go to Felidia. I don't know. We'll just see where we're going to go. We're going to eat a lot of Italian food. We're going to have some business meetings and have some fun. And basically just have an amazing 2-day best friends in New York getaway. Just shut up already. Oh my God. That's just so good. Okay. All I did here, I salted the pasta water. The pasta's perfectly salted. And then, of course, I use salted butter. That's fine. You can use unsalted butter if you want, but I prefer salted butter. It's cheaper. It's tastier. Parmesan, bit of the cooking water. So, of course, the cooking water had salt in it as well. Aha! So that was like adding a salty component. Mixed those all together, made a sauce, and then added just another little garnish of Parmesan. And I can tell you, this looks like really not much. Doesn't look like much, right? Just kind of looks boring. That's just some pasta. I guarantee you, if you were here, you would bite this, you would just fall over. It's so yummy. So that is it. Today on the 20-minute cooking school, we have talked about pasta. We talked about salt. We talked about cooking pasta. Always buy the pasta that's made in Italy. You don't have to like buy an Italian, like you don't have to go to a special store. Just look on the back of the pack. It should be made in Italy. What else do we cover? Yeah, all kinds of stuff. But basically, I sort of want to stop talking now so that I can sit down. Maybe watch an episode of Outlander and enjoy my pasta with butter and Parmesan. Thank you so much for watching the 20-minute cooking school. I will post a recipe for this because, yes, even though it's a simple dish, I think a recipe is sometimes helpful. Don't forget to let me know what your questions are. Is this interesting to you? Is this mind-blowing? Did I totally change your mind? Are you still upset about the amount of salt that I used? Have you been doing this forever and this is just not news? Anybody who comes from Italian heritage, I know. You're already salting your pasta water properly. That's kind of it. Meanwhile, enjoy, have fun, come back next week, same time, same station. I think we're going to talk about chopping, just some real hardcore knife skills, chopping and fun stuff like that. So tune in then. Until then, I hope that you enjoy your day. And don't forget, if you walk home tonight and you have no idea what's for supper, just put on a pot of water and literally in 18 minutes, I'm going to sit down and have dinner. And I've been talking a lot. So all that's to say, thank you everybody for joining me. Tune in soon again to the 20-minute cooking school. I'm going to lean over and possibly show you too much cleavage and finish this. And bye.